Hi, everybody. Let's see if I can get this up a little bit. Hi, everybody. This is day 1403. 1,403 days since Richard was murdered, and we don't have his body. Um, and today is Memorial Day. Well, no, it's not. We're burning the midnight oil. We're 8 minutes after midnight. And it has been a memorial day, a rememberable Memorial Day. We've been working very, very hard today on Memorial Day for our son to get answers, to get accountability. Let's see if I'm on Facebook, see if it's all working. And let me explain. Let me explain why we're working so hard. Um, you know, our amicus curiae for the SB4 case was accepted and is being reviewed. That is really important information, a very important development in our son's case, because even though we had to say we have a vested interest in the SB4 case or these developments, because Bill Hicks is a usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. Where is that at? That's in El Paso. That's Fort Bliss. He's a usurper prosecutor, right? He's the lead prosecutor, and he is not doing his job, and he's a usurper. He's illegal. He shouldn't even be in that position. Who should be, let me move this up a little. Who should be in that position? Well, of course, it should be Yvonne Rosales, right? Let me move over so you can see Richard. So, yeah, it should be Yvonne Rosales. Yvonne Rosales, please assert your power. Assert your position. You are the 34th Judicial District Attorney. You need to assert your position. It's more than just about you. It's about the rule of law. It's about doing what's right. It's about our American system. You need to assert your power and take your rightful place. People voted for you. You cannot, just ignore the thousands and thousands of votes that people cast for you. It's super important. And, because tomorrow is the election. And, of course, we gravitate to Alma Trejo, Judge Alma Trejo, if they're, because of she judged justly in Richard's case, but she's not the rightful district attorney. Yvonne Rosales is. Yvonne Rosales needs to assert her rightful place and be the district attorney. And, so what can I say? It's whether I like it or not, right? It's like, because I don't live in El Paso, and I think El Pasoans need to realize what has happened, that their vote was usurped. It was cast aside for political reasons, for a criminal cover-up, for, a criminal cover-up, many criminal cover-ups, with the Walmart case, with El Paso Community Foundation, with Richard's case. And I'm sure there's others. Because the Walmart case has multiple cases in it, multiple investigations in it. And yeah, so it just really takes all your brain power to wrap your head around what has happened. But if you're an El Pasoan, it is worth it. It's worth to realize what has happened, and to value your vote, the ability to vote, your say so in your government system. And whether you voted for Yvonne or not, she's did get more votes. And so she is the rightful district attorney. And in order to protect the system, the way our freedom to choose through the election process, who our district attorney is, who our leaders are. We cannot let these criminals say, well, we don't like who you voted for, so we're going to usurp your votes and we're going to put in our guy. I mean, then tyranny will reign, right? I mean, then they'll just walk all over us all the time. If we let them get away with it there in El Paso with Yvonne Rosales, they're going to be doing it all the time. And, then we're in very, very big trouble. And so I hope everyone rallies around Yvonne Rosales and show her your love, show her your support, so that she can take her rightful place. Because there are very mean people that will stop at nothing to harass, to bully, to retaliate, to get their way. So that they can get their pocket full of whatever they're wanting, be it the trafficking, be it the funds, be it whatever, be it the power. They will stop at nothing. That's one thing that Team Find Richard Halliday has absolutely learned in this, that these are ruthless. There are some wonderful people in El Paso, but let me tell you, there are some ruthless ones, some absolutely ruthless. And it's turning out that guess who's joining the rank of ruthless people? Walmart attorney Joe Spencer with his sidekick Felix Valenzuela. And I told you that I would be talking about that tonight, because yesterday an article came out, and I need to share it. I don't know if I've shared it yet, but I need to share it. But I've been trying to, we've been gathered around it and trying to read through it to make sense of what it's saying. Thank you, Team Find Richard Halliday, for alerting us to this article, because I think it's a very, very important article in our son's case, in the move forward, and the direction forward, and it has to do with Joe Spencer. Joe Spencer, an accusation, and caught on audio, on tape. Caught on tape. People are catching on. They're buying these recorders, or they use their phones to record. They're recording everything. They're recording everything because they absolutely know that there's ruthless people out there that are working with impunity, all kinds of illegal criminal actions, to get their way, to push their way forward, to usurp elections. And, that's exactly what Bill Hicks, and it looks like Joe Spencer was one of those added to the group that uh, with these criminal activities. Well, he's been accused, and he's been allegedly he was interfering with this 2022 uh, you know uh, takeover, usurpation. He's been accused, and seemingly the accuser has audio tapes. I think he's in big trouble. I think that he could go to jail for this. He absolutely could lose his license for this. And he's the Walmart. The Walmart, he's the one that's supposed to be defending Patrick Crusius. And remember, I've said it over and over again with a lawyer like Joe Spencer and Felix Valenzuela, who needs enemies, right? Who needs enemies sitting in isolation for 5 years with a severe mental health condition? And no, not even one action, not even an action to have his mental health evaluated. I mean, with attorneys like this, who needs enemies, right? And you can say, oh, well, he's a Walmart mass shooter or whatever. We have a system. We are not a rogue country or a lawless country. We have laws and we have procedures, and we do that because we value each and every person. And we have civil rights because we value each and every person. And we want justice. We want just justice. So if Patrick Crusius is guilty, let's hear it in court. Let's put out the evidence. Let's hear it. But see, they just keep it frozen. They just keep the case frozen. And they could, instead of taxing everybody, they could just drop it, because he's going to spend 1,000 years in prison. Federally, he was sentenced to 1,000 whatever years in prison. So they could just save Texas and El Pasoans a lot of money and just drop the case and just send him off to the Alcatraz of the Rockies, because he was sentenced to the Alcatraz of the Rockies. But they are, squeezing the people in El Paso that are being squeezed enough. I mean, they barely can pay for their house. Their property taxes are so high. And they're being squeezed even more to pay for this case, to pay for attorneys that are up to no good, right? That are just frozen in time because they're in cover-up mode. It seems like it's in cover-up mode. And then they're, being accused of interfering and intimidation and what was all in there on audio. I really, this is something to watch, everybody. This is really something to watch, because Joe Spencer is in big trouble, and his sidekick Felix Valenzuela. So, yeah, and it absolutely is connected to our son's case and the prime suspects in our son's case. Absolutely, this is something to watch. So that is huge, huge news. And, to understand the article, what we did then is, we didn't just read the article and then we were, oh my gosh. No, we went into action mode. We went into action mode and with two things in mind. One, our amicus being accepted and reviewed by the federal courts. That is very, very important because that connects this Article 2 with Joe Spencer, right? Because, they're all like colluding. They were colluding against Yvonne Rosales to usurp the voters of their votes, to usurp the election of Yvonne Rosales. And, so the big message here is the election interference. Okay, that's the big message here. And, we've been told over and over again, there's no election interference and all that. And let me tell you, in Yvonne Rosales' case, it's election interference. Clearly. And we have the proof, and we sent that proof in. We had to learn how to do this amicus brief. I called it an amicus notice, an amicus brief. And we had to learn how to submit it into the courts and be a friend to the courts, and we had to draft it and tweak it and everything because we had to stay very calm and cool and collect and address the SB4 case and what this meant to the SB4 case, not necessarily what it meant to our son's case, even though it's very important to our son's case that we have an actual prosecutor, right? Not someone that's going to botch every case because they're illegal. I mean, think about what's going to happen because this is all coming out, not by us. We're getting shadow banned. We just have a few people, but then we have 10,000 people. Maybe we have more watching. I don't know. But we are absolutely making ourselves known because we want to protect our country. We want to protect our country. That means protecting our institutions, our system, our agencies. And so we've been very, very busy letting a lot of people know out there. I cannot even tell you how many emails, how many letters that we have sent out to let people in authority, in important law enforcement or legal or we wrote the deans of all the law schools, as many as we could find. I mean, I don't know how many emails that took with bunches and bunches of deans of law schools to let them know that this court has accepted our amicus brief of something very serious with the supplemental that has all of the evidence that can be reviewed, that Bill Hicks, right there in El Paso, is a usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. That is really, really big. And we've, tried to let everyone know that because we cannot allow that. We cannot tolerate that. We cannot look the other way. This is an absolute assault on our system. Assault on our justice system, assault on every capital murder case, on a fraud on the courts. This is a fraud on the courts. If you ever saw one, here it is. And it was also election interference because we have the open records to show, even though they've tried to block over and over again, a lot of open records, and some of it they've succeeded, some of it they haven't, but we have enough open records as evidence that Bill Hicks, with Bob Moore, with Justin Underwood, with Omar Carmona, with now, it seems like it, Joe Spencer, worked to usurp the DA's office and pull Yvonne Rosales out. She must have been doing some really good things, y'all. She must have really tried to prosecute some crime because, these people at these levels to risk everything, to be so evil, to be so criminal, it really makes you, it's like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? So we've worked very hard. And, we have some breaking news with the medical examiner too. And I think I'm going to leave that for tomorrow because, we're double checking and triple checking. Let me tell you, he's illegal. So you've got an illegal DA in El Paso, an illegal chief medical examiner, and that's why 4 years, and we can't get justice. We can't get our son's body, even though we have evidence that they have our son's body. Okay, and so the notice of death was a huge step forward, a huge step. And now we want our son's body. And going to because I know it's so late and I don't want to be so long, but I want to mention this whole thing with the Real Fit Fam El Paso. I have been adding it to the title, and I'm not really that great with getting the right pictures up and the right titles up for each of these live streams, because we are just so focused on getting justice and getting those letters out, producing them, editing, you have to write them, you have to edit them, you have to check them, you have to do the grammar check on them, you have to, check the laws on them, everything, and we're getting pretty good. We're getting much, much quicker. But it's a lot of work. And, I've been adding the Real Fit Fam El Paso on these last few days because it's super important, y'all. It's so important. Because, when you think about it, this Jules, he's an Army officer. Okay, he got out in 2016 and he's in the reserves. He's an Army officer. He's a veteran. He is a veteran from Fort Bliss. He is not only a veteran from Fort Bliss, an Army officer in the reserves, but he's also in the whole emergency response. He was working the Walmart case. He worked firsthand, he worked the Walmart case. He works side by side with the military. He has secret clearance. He has access to information. This is so concerning because it's not just him, it's others like him. And they are behind the Real Fit Fam El Paso. And they, have their people writing and whatever and saying, why are you picking on him? Or, whatever. I'm not picking on him. I'm not picking on him. How am I picking on him? My goodness. He is wanting to be stealth mode. He's wanting to be secret, an Army officer with all of this secret clearance access to information, running a for-profit information social media page. What? How am I picking on him? He's picking on himself because he absolutely knows better on that. Is he above the law or something? Is he just allowed to do all these things too that he wants to do? And when I wouldn't even know about him, but he went and posted a false story about Richard. This is my son. This is our son. He has been for, since January of 2020, they launched a smear campaign on him. Smear, 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 frame him, uh, you know, punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him. And then it escalated to his murder. And then they weren't satisfied with that. They had to take his body and they had to dismember it. And they had to bury him in different places. And then smear him, smear him, smear him. And cover this up. And I'm picking on Jules when he has access to information and was working the intake center, working the Walmart case firsthand. I mean, you think that he is not having access to the law enforcement information and, during the whole time that this was going on with Richard? And then we find out that the real Fit Fam El Paso has connections with the prime suspects in the murder of our son, has connections with the media sweetheart for the Walmart case. And he is reacting. How is he reacting? Not with condolences. We're writing and saying, that's a false story. You need to take it down. It's a false story. Right? You might be liable. We were even saying that you might be liable. And what do they do? Oh, yes, you are the family of the fallen soldier. Our fallen soldier, esprit de corps. No, they're not doing that. They're ignoring us. They don't have Richard 6. They're smearing him in his death. It's not enough that he was murdered on Fort Bliss. It's not enough that he was dismembered. They have to smear him. Who are these people? Did they come from some underworld or whatever? I mean, the level of evil and crime is off, down deep. And listen to this. He didn't even stop there, because we offered to, we're the ones that got the casualty report. Why don't you share our son's story from us? Okay? Whatever. You have that up. You don't want to take it down. Why don't you share our side of the story too? What did they do? Ignore us. We're like, who are these people? And so we looked them up. And here he is, an Army officer with all kinds of connections. All kinds of connections. And we're not allowed to say it? And then it's like, oh, take it down. No, you want to work in stealth to the people of El Paso, to the military community, that you're military and you're smearing a fallen soldier? You want to keep that quiet while you smear a fallen soldier, a whistleblower. Anyone that is defending the people behind, or these military and secret clearance people behind the Real Fit Fam El Paso, doesn't know the story, doesn't have a clue. Doesn't have the clue. They should be calling 911. They should be calling the police. They should be calling Major General Eisenhower and saying, what's this security breach you have again? What is this security breach you have? They should be calling, what is his name? Patrick Dyer. Isn't that what his name is now? The DES, the new DES. What the hell is this? What's this breach you have? What do you have? These people that have access to information, and they're running a for-profit in secret, in stealth mode, social media page. That, let me tell you, I've had people, you know what they call it? The extortion page. That these, I don't know. He didn't try to extort from me, but I'm having people say that they're well known for extortion, putting up pages and then saying, well, we'll take it down if you give us some money. Where is Major General Eisenhower in this? Where is DES? Where are they? You got security breaches everywhere, and then you want me to come there with my family and have a memorial for my son, and you don't even have it secured. And we've had death threats. We've had all kinds of harassment. We can't even have a memorial for our son. These people. So, and you know what? It doesn't even stop there. I haven't even told you that wasn't enough for Jules. Army officer Jules. Is he a captain, major? I mean, the last time I heard, I think he got out, and who knows if he got some kind of disability benefits from that VA office with his connections. I don't know. It is just, yeah, he got out. So maybe he's a major now. Maybe he's a lieutenant colonel now. Who knows? He's an Army officer in the reserves with connections, with, with Garda World, right? Garda World, with secret clearances. And what does he do? Take down his LinkedIn quickly. And it's not just him. It's a lot of others on that. A lot of others that we know their names. The first thing, go stealth. I got a ghost. I can't be exposed. What are you from? This is epic. And then he goes on with the group that is retaliating against us for so long. So it seems like he responds by retaliation. He is adding up his criminal, he has a little bit of criminal history there. Um, yep, yep. And he responds not like he hasn't matured. He should respond properly. But he wants to go, hide his LinkedIn, hide his CV because it's impressive. And that, being impressive means he has access to information. He has connections. And so his response to us, a family that, Team Find Richard Halliday that doesn't like him posting up a smear on our son is to retaliate, to join forces with those that have been retaliating against us, harassing us, threatening us, some totally connected to Veronica Escobar, Representative Veronica Escobar. Please do not vote for her. She is just so up to no good. I mean, she's connected and she's up to no good. And also the Whopper, connected to one of the prime suspects in the murder of our son. And that's where he goes, where they can post Richard's face on the recently executed death row inmate and post it up. That's where he goes. That's where he wants to go where Bob Moore goes. That's where Bob Moore went, right? And that's where a Walmart attorney went, right? A Walmart attorney to go there and communicate with Leilani Hart. And Leilani Hart got legal counsel from an attorney from the Mormon Church. So all of this, you can just see you have where they go, where they want to communicate to. Is that like a representation of Veronica Escobar? I mean, is she participating in any of the funding of that kind of retaliation against a family that wants their son's remains after he's been murdered on Fort Bliss? Because it's connected to the whistleblowing. And y'all, it's all coming together. Because this Melendez Mendez, you got the K9 cop, you got the website designer, manager, but then you've got Joe Spencer. He's probably the biggest fish so far. Is he bigger than Veronica Escobar? I don't know. But Joe Spencer, the Walmart attorney, that article, I think today, I don't know. I have this feeling that today, of course it happened yesterday, but the first time you read something, you can't take it all in. You have to read it at least we have to read it a few times because, trying to put all the pieces together. But Joe Spencer, he seems like to be in big trouble. He can go to prison for this, for interference in the DA's office there, actively interfering, usurping the people's vote, and putting a usurper. I don't know if he put in, that's, I think Governor Abbott's going to have to answer to that. And please understand that Governor Abbott knows. He's probably reviewing all of this. He knows. And, our only, because we're peaceful, and we don't want to ruin people's lives. We don't, it's like the criminals are like, oh, you're ruining our lives. No, you've been ruining the lives of El Pasoans for years and years and years. They are so taxed out. They're being extorted. This is what I'm hearing. They're miserable. No, the criminals, when they cry, or when they go into stealth mode, or they go into retaliation mode, and, we just don't operate that way. We trying to be as peaceful as we can and just follow the law. As the law has given it to us, the right to speak out, even though they have stolen our son's identity, they've stolen our identity. We have the right to speak out. We have the right to investigate. Well, we've been told to investigate, and we have the right to do it. And I don't think that telling El Pasoans who's behind the Real Fit Fam El Paso is wrong. Especially when they are military with secret clearance, military connected with secret clearance, government workers with access to information. I don't think it's wrong. And when you have the likes of Bob Moore and Joe Spencer and Felix Vollant, Justin Underwood, and you have these officials or attorney in activities that are criminal. They're criminal. I think that needs to be exposed. Because think about it. This is where it's led. We had 85,000 missing children. We have Asia Graham's death. We have this sex cult. We have this rape cult. We have a 12-year-old being pimped out on Fort Bliss. We have Major General Eisenhower allowing the breaches. He has every power to close down every security breach. He's allowing it. The DES is allowing it. These security breaches, which is killing our most precious assets, our volunteer sons and daughters. Our community. It's harming our community. And it's so expensive. All of this crime is so expensive. And so it's harming our economy. The broken window fallacy. Let's just make all this crime. Then I can make money with all this death. Well, I can make money with all this law enforcement. I can make money with all these prisons. I can make law, this is their thinking. They don't think that there's good things out there, good inventions, good potentialities. They have no faith. They have no faith that there's something better. And so they're working for the broken window fallacy. And if you don't know the broken window fallacy, go read about it, because it's like these people like to make war, like to make sickness, like to make death, like to make everything. They just like to break everything, and then they want to profit off of it. So, and you see that so clearly with these criminals. So let me read the comments now. Thank you, Anicia, for your prayers and love, and just being with us all the time. It's just amazing. And Danielle, thank you so much. And they should be upfront with you surrounding Richard's case. Many hiding behind fake accounts. Yes, and they are connected. Okay, let me get this out there. Jules. Okay, so let me call him Army Officer Chan, and the rest at Real Fit Fam El Paso are connected to prime suspect in Richard's case. Okay? Then he goes to the group and starts retaliating against us with the group, with the prime suspect in Richard's murder. Now tell me if that, and then takes down his LinkedIn pretty swift. That's suspicious. And then he says he was actively working the Walmart case there firsthand. That means he's connected again. He's connected for sure with the media sweetheart. Y'all. And anyone would know. If you're working that Walmart case firsthand, you don't have to have much brain power to realize that the evidence doesn't add up to the narrative that they want us to believe. And that there is a stall of frozen, not even 1 inch forward in the Walmart case, and a plea deal in the federal case. A plea deal, okay? They didn't go to court. They didn't have to share evidence. They didn't have to hash it all out to find out what happened on that day. They did a plea deal. A plea deal with a defendant with a severe mental health condition. That's so rotten. That stinks. Let's see the evidence. Why do they have fake accounts to speak up? Stand tall and proud, and they should show. They have fake accounts. And then, because when they don't have fake accounts and you go, oh, they work for that person. Oh, they're connected with that person. That's why they have multiple names, okay? These people have multiple names. It's I was just so unaware until this case of the fraud. The identity fraud is huge. You always know there's identity fraud. Let me tell you, it is such a big problem. It is a huge problem. The identity fraud, I would say, you know, I would put it up there in the top 5 of problems that we have in this country. They operate on identity fraud. It's, yeah, it is so, so bad. I've seen this happen for years. Even sick individuals requesting to be my friend with my deceased brother's face on the friends requests account. I figured out who it was. Another individual trying to change the narrative. People don't realize cybersecurity. You figure out all IP addresses leading to the individuals. Thank you, Danielle. Absolutely. And we were able to trace the burner phones too. Um, you know, eh, the thing is, we've got to get the message out. We've got to educate our people. We've got to educate the people that are being hurt every day, and they don't even realize how bad they're being hurt. Um, because you have to have this faith of the potentiality. And that's why, some of my bonuses, I try to put up these, glorious things, glorious, um, and I wish I could post even more about that, and I probably should. But there is so much for us how we can move forward. But because of these crimes and the criminal network, they're holding us back. They're holding us back. And, and more people will die and more people will get hurt. Well, more people, you know, um, the crime, when you're raped, when you're going through this, you know, airdropping porn on you and all of the illegal drugs and who knows all the things they do to us, that every step is like death by 1,000 cuts. They're harming our mental health, they're harming our physical health, they're harming our economic health. And, it's just over and over again. And so, when people like, oh, just go and have peace, wait a minute. How? We don't have peace when there's not justice. There's no peace, there's no rest without justice. There's no, and there's no justice without restitution. There's no justice without accountability. And, I'm very grateful for the article, and I need to put it up. The article, because I really think it's going to hurt Joe Spencer, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Because I don't care how good of an attorney you are, how bad of an attorney you are, how prominent you are, if you're connected to the Porous Brothers or not, whatever, connected to the cartel, connected to whatever. I don't care. You cannot, act criminally with impunity, interfere with our elections, um, interfere with the district attorney's office, and just think that no one is ever going to pay attention and no one's ever going to say anything and you're never going to be held accountable. So, and the truth of it is if he had one shred of decency, he would want to be held accountable. And, I never really understood King David's song, the Psalm, I think it's 51. Um, I hope I'm right. But you know, he's confessing to God, and he's saying, judge me because your judgment is righteous. Your judgment is just and it's true. And he wanted that because he knew that it would make his soul healthier, his mental health healthier. Confession is a cure of souls. And forgiveness, when you're judged and you pay your penalty, and you're forgiven, that it's like, okay, our neighbors in Germany had this beautiful glass ball. I think it was a green ball. Um, and the boys, the kids were out there playing, and the ball hit the glass ball and it broke. And I'm like, okay, well, you've got to go get two. You've got to replace it with two, right? You've got to do better than what she had. And so we went out and bought two to make it better than what our neighbor had originally, what they broke. And you know what? She was so happy. And she was like, wow. And she bought them some gummy bears, you know, and the kids were so happy because they gave her something even better than what she had. And they didn't feel guilty anymore. They were forgiven. They were on good footing with our neighbor. That's that's justice. Did they have to pay? Did they have, could they have bought other things with their money? Yeah. But, they broke that ball, that glass ball. They had to replace it. They replaced it with two to make it even better. And I never have I heard one grumble from, well, now I can't hear a grumble from Richard now, right? But to say, oh, we had to use our money to buy they were so happy. They had made a friend, a good friend, out of the neighbor. And I don't think she'll ever forget that. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, we think, oh, we should just let them go. Let them go. Let them, steal our money. Let them interfere with our DA's office. Let them intimidate. Let them retaliate. Let them murder my son. Let them cut him up. Go on. Get the casualty money or whatever and go off on your own. Just do whatever. No. No. Mm-mm. Because it won't stop. And other people are going to be hurt. And they'll be put through hell and more, worse than us. And I'm telling you, these breaches in security on our military installations are absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. $1 trillion military. Absolutely unacceptable. It's fraud, waste, and abuse. And it's killing our loved ones. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And let me see if I read them all. People don't realize cybersecurity. Thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.